Of course, we have the indictment of Teixeira, who was the person who leaked those Pentagon documents. What are your thoughts on those documents? What do they reveal? And what do you think should happen to Jack Teixeira? And is he a whistleblower or a leaker?
Yeah. Oh, I have so many thoughts about this. First, the easy thing is I think he's not a whistleblower. I think he's a leaker. Not that that necessarily matters in this case. I'll get to that in a second. But there's actually a legal definition of whistleblowing at the federal level. It's bringing to light any evidence of waste, fraud, abuse, illegality, or threats to the public health or public safety. That doesn't necessarily mean if you have a policy difference, like you disagree with the Ukraine war, you maybe possibly can argue that that's an illegality because there hasn't been a congressional declaration of war, but that's really stretching it. So I think he's a leaker, not a whistleblower. I don't think he should go to prison, though. I don't think he should go to prison because the way the Espionage Act was written, somebody who leaked documents or leaked what's called national defense information to the media was not necessarily the target of the original Espionage Act. He didn't do it on behalf of a foreign country. And the way the Espionage Act was originally written, the government had to prove harm to the national security. Well, we've all read these documents, or we've all read accounts of these documents, and there is no harm to the national security. There's no harm to sources and methods, which is one of the three holy of holies: sources and methods, liaison relationships, and anything having to do with NSA, right? There hasn't been any damage. In fact, so many of these reports, Katie, seemed to me to be pro-administration, pro-American government, that I wondered right up until the day of Jack Teixeira's arrest if these documents hadn't been leaked by the government. So what did we learn in these documents? Just as an example, we didn't like the South Korean foreign minister and defense minister, okay? And we said so in the documents. We don't like these guys. They're too left-wing. Okay, they got fired or resigned. They were asked to resign. And then conservatives took over. We like them. They're pro-American. Okay, so how does that report damage the national security? It doesn't. There was a report that he released saying that, well, the Egyptians were going to sell missiles to Russia, and we heard about it. So we went to the Egyptians, and we said, you better not do that. Those missiles you were going to sell to Russia, you should sell to Ukraine. And so they sold to Ukraine. Okay, well, that makes the State Department look good. It makes them look strong and tough. They stood up to the Egyptians. They pointed their finger. Where's the damage to the national security? There is none. And so I think what we have here is a young, immature kid, 21 years old, who was trying to impress his 16-year-old buddies on some stupid chat room that nobody reads. And he did something stupid. So should he be punished? Sure. And 10 years ago, he would have lost his security clearance. He would have gotten a strongly worded memo in his personnel file, and he wouldn't have been eligible for promotion for a year or two. Now we're looking at an Espionage Act prosecution, probably with many multiples of counts. He's been charged with 2 counts under the Espionage Act. You and I were talking offline a few minutes ago. I would expect to see a superseding indictment where they charge him with 5, 10, 20 counts of espionage, and then they'll negotiate most of those away. But with the way that the Justice Department has been treating whistleblowers, the sentences have gotten progressively longer. I got 30 months total. And then Jeffrey Sterling got 42 months, and Daniel Hale got 44 months, and Reality Winner got 63 months. And so they're getting longer and longer and longer. That's what the danger is here.
And what about what it reveals about the Ukraine war? That seems like the one thing that's somewhat politically inconvenient.
Yeah. So many of us have been saying that the truth of the matter is there just aren't enough Ukrainians in total to keep this war going forever, which is what we want to happen. You know, people joke that the United States wants to fight to the last Ukrainian. Well, the United States wants to fight to the last Russian. But the truth is there are so many more Russians than
Right.
there are Ukrainians. The Russians can empty their prisons.